Hello, Historical Faith Society. We're back again with Dr. Dan Biddle from Genesis Apologetics, and we're going to be talking about some tools that they have developed for your children, and if you can, to let your grandchildren know about it. So Dan, let's talk about that. What do you have?
Great. We have 3 different main offerings that we offer to people, and they're all free. The first one is called the Student Zone. So if you just go to our website, type in genesisapologetics.com, you'll find our Student Zone. That's for our youngest audience members. That's from K to 8th graders. We have a library of 24 videos that they can get in there and watch about creation, dinosaurs, Noah's flood, things like that. And that's hosted by Big Wave Dave. He's our vice president of our ministry, and that's another free program that we have. The next one is called Debunk Evolution. So you can just go to debunkevolution.com or access it from our main website. And that's for 5th to 10th graders, primarily those who are involved in public school. So if they're enrolled in public school and they're going through life science and biology classes, which are the 2 main classes where they teach a lot of evolution, our Debunk Evolution series will take the top 10 pillars of evolution that they're going to be taught in those 2 classes and address them from a biblical worldview. So that's called debunkevolution.com, great for 5th to 10th graders. Then the last one is called 7 Myths. So you can go to 7myths.com and access that program. And what we want students to do with that is when you're in 10th or 11th grade, before you go off to college, make sure to have your students go through that program. It's about 2 hours worth of training. There's a book that comes with it. And it really grounds and roots their faith in issues like Noah's flood, the days of creation. What about dinosaurs? What about dinosaur extinction? All these things will help them get them rooted down in their faith before going off to college. So that's our last program. But really, those 3 different programs cover all the way to from kindergarten through college.
Dan, let's take a look at the Student Zone, one of the videos there, so people can get a feel for that.
What about flying creatures? There are literally millions of them on Earth, and they can do some amazing things. Some of them can hover in the air. Some of them soar effortlessly in the skies high above us. Some can change directions almost instantly. Some swoop down on their prey with lightning-fast speed and precision. All of these creatures show design and purpose, but who made them? The good news is we don't have to wonder. The Bible tells us that God created flying creatures on day 5 of creation.
Next, let's take a look at a clip from the Debunk Evolution series.
These are real animals or fossils we've actually discovered. But these branching points are just imaginary lines that represent the hypotheses about which animals evolved from a common ancestor. No facts support them that can't also support different links, or no links. The transitional fossils they represent have never been found. If they were, well, we'd see their pictures here, right? Though evolutionists point to a few examples, there should be thousands.
Genesis 1:21 says, "So God created great sea creatures and every living thing that moves, with which the waters abounded, according to their kind, and every winged bird according to its kind. And God saw that it was good."
Next, let's take a look at a clip from the 7 Myths series.
Now let's focus in on some of the points about Lucy to see how she fits in the human evolution tree. Overall, Lucy was about 3.5 feet tall and likely weighed about 64 pounds. To put that in perspective, female chimps are about the same height as Lucy and typically weigh between 70 and 100 pounds. But Lucy's body type was more similar to a pygmy chimp or a bonobo, which is a cousin to the chimp. They're about the same size as Lucy. Females average 3 feet 8 inches and about 68 pounds.
So Lucy was basically the same height and weight as many chimps and most bonobos we see today in zoos?
Well, in many ways, she was very similar to a bonobo, but we believe she had several features that show she was becoming more human-like. Let's start with the head, and we'll work our way down to her toes.
Lucy's complete skull is shown in museums and school textbooks across America, but did they actually find her skull?
No, but we did find these skull fragments.
So these few brown pieces are what they actually found, and the rest is, well, imagined?
I wouldn't go that far.
But did they find the white parts?
No.
So how can they not be imagined? Besides, don't you think her skull looks very similar to a modern bonobo skull?
I see what you're saying. I mean, Lucy's discoverer said Lucy's skull was almost entirely missing, so knowing the exact size of Lucy's brain was the crucial bit of missing evidence. But from the few skull fragments we had, it looks surprisingly small. Later estimates reveal that Lucy's brain was just 1/3 the size of the human brain, making her brain about the average size of the average chimp.
So just what is it about her skull that makes her anything but an ape?
What do you want me to say?
Dan, what are you working on next? Because I know you got something exciting. Let's talk about that.
Yes, we're working with Sevenfold Films to come out with what we hope to be the leading movie done on Noah's flood. So it's going to be called The Ark in the Darkness, Unearthing the Mysteries of Noah's Flood, and it should be coming out in July 2023. We've already completed the filming cooperation with Answers in Genesis with their huge Ark encounter that's out there. It's their 500-foot-long life-size replica of Noah's Ark. And we've also filmed several experts over at Liberty University. So we're going to have 11 PhD experts in their respective fields helping us out with this movie, and lots of photorealistic animations of the rifting and the flooding and the tsunamis that happened during Noah's flood. So we're really excited about this movie. We've already raised the first wave of funding for it, and it should be out in theaters between 700 and 900 theaters through Fathom Events in July 2023.
Oh, Dan, that is so great to hear. I'm so excited about that. You have no idea. I think many of us are very moved by the Noah's Ark story and the flood, and I think it's important because there is a verse in the Bible. Help me if I understand this right. It says, "As it was in the days of Noah."
That's exactly right. As it was in the days of Noah, so it will be in the days before the coming of the Son of Man. That's in Matthew 24. And Christ says, when he comes back, it's going to be as bad as it was as before the days of Noah. And those who have studied the flood and looked at the corruption and everything that was going on with mankind at the days of the flood, it got pretty bad. And it looks in many ways that society could be heading that way today. It's certainly escalating in that direction.
Okay, well, thanks again, Dan, for all that you're doing, and we're going to keep talking with you and keeping up with what you have. And once again, everyone, there's resources that they have put a lot invested into, and a lot of research, a lot of resources have gone into these productions that they've created, and it's for you, it's for your family. And I think it's really important that you take the time to look at these films because they've got some answers that you need for your children, and don't let them be, in many ways, I would say, deceived by some of the stuff that's going on out there. So anyway, Dan, once again, thanks again for all that you're doing with Genesis Apologetics.
Great. Thanks very much for having me, Tim.